Welcome, everyone. This is Sharon, the host of the Informed Advocate podcast. This is a special podcast episode today. Do you know why? Because this is the first live podcast that we've done since we've been doing the Informed Advocate podcast. And then also, we have a very special guest. And so, also as a reminder, with the Informed Advocate podcast. It is the intersection of self care, advocacy, and compassion for self caregivers. And so, welcome. And so, before we start, today's episode is sponsored by Shante Oils. And you can go to ShanteOils, that's with the S at the end, .store to buy the products where it's all about prosperity from the inside out. Prosperity starts with you. And so, with our our guest today is Lay'na Michelle, the RnB Empress. And so, we're going to welcome her in.
Hi.
Hi there, Lay'na Michelle. It is a pleasure of meeting you. And before, I guess you could say, I really get started or having you say something about yourself, let me make sure I let the audience know this about you. Again, our special guest today is Lay'na Michelle, RnB Empress. She's 8 times award winning and 2-time history making R&B soul artist. And I must say, you have a very lovely voice. I had the opportunity to listen to your music, and I'm like, oh, the world definitely needs this. Most definitely. And the other thing I do want to make sure I let the audience know is that, let me make sure I got this right, is that let me make sure I say it right. Let me read it exactly how it is. Lay'na Michelle RnB Empress has been nominated in Europe for 10 awards, and we started to go a GoFund account. And so definitely, if you know her, or shall I say, go ahead and follow her on Facebook and find the GoFund account. And what I'm going to do is I will list it on here as well, so they'll have access to that. And
Thank you.
so go ahead and tell everyone about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. First, I want to say thank you for having me. This is a blessing. It's an honor. Of course, like you said, my name is Lay'na Michelle, the R&B Empress. I've been doing music for a long time. I would say I probably started when I was 3, not professionally, but my mom knew there was something there when I was singing and making up music out of nowhere. And one song in particular, she said stuck with her, Save the Bunnies. Why do she remember this? I don't know. That's what mothers do. But she said that I kept with that melody and I kept going. And she's like, this girl has been singing this for years. And as I got older, my husband, well, at the time, my fiance heard me singing in the shower. And he said, you know what? We need to put that on wax, that old school term. And he talked to my mom about it. My mom said, you know what? I knew it. I knew she was going to sing. And I just been praying and kept on going from there. No matter what challenges I had physically or anything that tried to hit me mentally, I just said, no, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. And here I am today.
Well, we're definitely blessed to have you. Definitely
Thank
blessed.
you.
Now,
Thank
you
you.
said that the music kept you going. And one thing about this, podcast is all about self-care. It's that
Mhm.
piece of advocacy. And a lot of times people think about advocacy like for other people, but it's really about advocacy about yourself, for
Mhm.
yourself, through yourself. And so, like, in what ways have your music helped you to get through some things in life?
A lot of times I've heard people say when they have problems that they write it down in a letter.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of writing it in a letter, for me, I'm able to write it down on pen and paper. And I just so happen to have that creative side is in my family. So I just so happen to have the blessing to be able to use beats or music and put it together with my, I guess you can say, letter or with my words. And after I'd done that and I kept singing and kept going and people were listening, it felt good to hear people say, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're going through. I went through that. And for me to be able to be an inspiration to someone, that feels so good. So I know it's a
Mm,
testimony because your testimony is not for you, it's for someone else. So it helps
exactly.
me as well as helping someone else to get over a hump or even just have happiness and express their happiness. That feels so good, really good.
And that's where it's at. And this is pretty much what you just said, just a perfect example of how we all can use our gifts to give
Mhm,
on to others where they could it's almost like even though they're benefiting, but we're benefiting too. And it's almost like a
mhm.
give that we can't give ourselves, that we have to give through others,
Yes,
you
yes.
know?
And you get that, I guess you can say, you get that reward or that kind of a therapeutic moment when you see people and they're saying congratulations or that was good. I wish I could do that. And it's like, wow, maybe we have something going here.
Exactly, exactly. And just by you saying that, this actually goes into, I mean, like perfect with our sponsor. And so, with our sponsor is Shante Oils. And why not nourish your mind with prosperity prayers and affirmation? And it's a book. And let's see if I can see it. Oh,
Mhm.
I think I had it backwards. I'm not sure if everyone can see it, but I will put that in the chat as well. And again, this goes right into it. It's kind of like where someone can use, the gift. So words of
Mhm.
affirmation, words of prayer, and it pours directly into someone, but it's from, the
Mhm.
person. And so with you and Shanti, definitely have that in pretty much together. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, yeah.
Thank you.
So, mm, I just love conversations like this, because these are the type of conversations I've pretty much come to realize a lot of times we just don't talk. We go through life
Mhm.
and we accomplish things and we go through things and not that at the time of going through, because sometimes we may not have the emotional capacity to even share with others, and then others may not have the emotional capacity to support either. So this is where
Yes.
our gifts helps us.
Mhm.
So it sounds like with the music, with your singing, that it really helped you through some trying times.
Yes, yes. For example, yesterday, my husband slash manager, he took the time to make sure that every January 20th, he celebrate me. And what it was, I was sexually assaulted, and January
Mm.
20th was the date.
Oh.
And I was taking it and using it as a excuse to mope around,
Mm.
excuse to cry, excuse to not do anything. But my husband said, no, you can't do that. You survived that. And look at you. You're doing music and you're writing. You're a great wife. And, sometimes we need a cheerleader to help us, remember that we're our own cheerleaders as well.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he does that, oh my gosh, it helps me. Like, okay, that was my extra juice I needed to keep
Most
on going.
definitely. Oh, wow. And then also, too, one of the things that he did is that
Mhm.
he allowed you to rewrite it
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that when that date comes around, you have more. of a new memory for it.
Yes, yes. Because I know from therapy that you'll never forget that day. But the fact that he's doing that, like you said, it's helping me to push that in the back, put it in a box and put it in the back because it's not going nowhere. It happened. But with the new memories that he has and he's creating for me, I'm able to be able, I guess you could say, to write my music to be more happier and inspiring instead of just so angry all the time.
Yeah.
And again, it feels good to have that cheerleader on your side. It's just like a cheer team. You know, you can be cheering yourself on, but you can't jump up in the air if you don't have anybody help boosting you up. And I guess you could say he's that one that's like, okay, come on, let me boost you up and toss you up in the air and catch you if you fall.
Yes,
So
yes.
it
And it's
feels
very,
good.
very beneficial when there is someone. And I always like to
Mhm.
remind people, even if there's not anyone, when you have enough momentum within yourself, then you can catch yourself.
Yes, yes. God is not going to let you fall. He's not.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you want to fall and bump your head. You're not going to bump it too hard. But he's just going to say, okay, get up. Come on, let's do this again.
Yeah. And one thing I want to touch on too, because you were saying that, the therapist has said, people who experience something like that would never forget it. And the thing that I want to at least attach to that, a lot of times our body will not forget it unless we
Yes.
reprogram it. And so with music and with singing, it's vibrational. And so by your singing, that and the music that goes along with it, that's helping it. And then with your husband rewriting the
Mhm.
story by allowing you to giving you permission to be in a different way with that date and with yourself, so
Mhm.
that you can continue to have newer emotional imprints that's more vibrational, in alignment with you.
Yes, yes. And I'm just happy. I can honestly say from when it happened to me in high school until now, I'm not afraid. I'm gonna say my age. I'm 36, but it just feels good to know within those years of me knowing him till now, it's like, okay, that happened to me. It just made me a stronger person because I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Versus if I didn't have a cheerleader, if I didn't have a relationship with God, I probably would have hated all men or all people and moped around. If that didn't kill me, my mental status probably would have killed me. And I'm so happy it didn't.
Yeah, most definitely. And the other thing that goes along with that is that when it comes to these emotional imprints, is that again, like I said, it um it can get stuck in the body. And what we don't real I feel like this, we understand it better now in the mental health field, in that it's really important to have embodiment practices such as dancing. That's where listening
Yes.
to music come into play. But even when it comes to touching our own skin, and this leads into the next, I guess you say, our sponsorship with Shante Oils, in what Shante Oils has. Um, Let me make sure. Nourish your skin and hair twice a day with Shante's Oil, which has all natural ingredients. And go to ShanteOils.Store and order yours today. And
Oh,
this is a
wow.
sample for it. And one thing I can say, since I've been using it, I mean, it really is very soft on the skin and everything.
Mhm.
And I just want to remind people of that. And definitely, I would say go and order yourself some, and, and just, in the mornings and at night, and just use it on your skin. Because in our society, we're kind of been taught, really, to be honest, other people are supposed to make us feel good. And
Mhm.
even when it comes to our own sensuality and sexuality is more of our job than it is of someone else's job, you know?
Yes.
So one
Yes.
way of doing that is, is moisturizing your own skin. Cause I know I put on this, I'm still in training. I'm gonna put it like that. When I say that, I'm just putting my lotion on, you know what I'm saying? But now that I'm a little bit more conscious, it's like, oh, I really need to moisturize
Mm-hmm.
myself. And that really makes a difference. And this is a self-care act, you know?
Yeah.
you know.
And I notice when I do things for myself,
Hmm.
like just waking up and doing your hair, washing your face, I get more compliments, and who doesn't like a good compliment? I get more compliments when I'm able to look in the mirror and say, girl, you beautiful. You done been through a lot. Girl, go ahead. And I notice when I go out, I get even a lot more, more compliments, and it's like people can tell if you don't feel good about yourself, they can tell. I'd rather someone giving me a compliment than someone trying to, I guess you could say, help me with my self esteem. It's called self esteem. So you have to work with self before someone else, I guess you can say, can work with you.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's where that self-esteem comes from, is how you think about yourself and and pretty much what you just said. I mean, that's just so profound because it's almost like by you doing that for yourself, like you said, it made you step out in the world almost different,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah,
know. So that's a reminder, for us, I don't want to say a time of day, but I should say when you get up, not that it has to be in the morning, but whatever it is for the person, is to get up and move like you're somebody. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And feel like
Exactly.
you're somebody because it does come from us, it's come from everything that we do when we step into the world. And so that when things, like hit us, it's like, oh, well, what is this? And I guess you could say we have our own, not just the superpowers, but we put on this, there's a true invisible shield, but it's more so to protect,
Yes. Mhm.
against, the kryptonites of the world.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Hmm.
Wow, this is so, so powerful. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And so, like, when it comes to being a caregiver, like, what experiences beyond yourself, like, beyond yourself of being a caregiver, and then we'll come back to how you're, caring for yourself. But like, when it comes to caring for others, comes to your husband or your family. Tell us a little bit about that.
Woo. Well, I say it like this. My mom is my dad's caregiver. She's the primary caregiver, but of course, when she needs that moment of, I need to get away for a second, I try to step in as much as I can. For me, I have to say it's hard.
Mhm.
And the reason why it's so hard, my dad has dementia.
Mhm.
And it's hard where when I was his little girl, I was his baby and I
Mhm.
call him daddy. And now I'm calling him baby. And it's like his mind is reset
Mhm.
back in child mode. So it's very hard to see that. But at the same time, once I say a prayer, it's like no matter what, my dad is still inside of that body,
Mhm.
no matter what. So you got to keep going. And I sing to him sometime, or sometime I'll go, Alexa, play such and such song, and we'll get up and just to see him smile and dancing, it makes me feel good. And when my mom walked in the door, it's like, oh, you could have stayed gone a little longer because,
Mhm.
I got this for now.
Mhm.
I got this, and I can tell it's wow. So to all the caregivers out there, I have to give you your flowers now because it is not an easy job. And she's with my dad 24/7. They've been married 38 years,
Wow.
together 40 years. So, ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And with that, you pretty much touched 2 points. And so, like you're a caregiver for your father, but you're also, I call it like a secondary caregiver even for your
Mhm.
mom, because you're allowing her to have respite. And it's really important for anyone who's in a primary caregiver role is to be able to
Mhm.
have those breaks as much as possible. The physical break, when I'm meaning like where she's able to leave the house and do her own thing, and
Yes.
then that's to say when you're not able to, hopefully she's able to have those mental breaks as well, that can help nourish, her mind and her body and her spirit, because it
Mhm.
really, really um, is draining.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a lot. It really is a lot. And so when it comes for you, because like after that experience, how much you love your father and how much
Mhm.
um the experience was when he was coming around and listening to the music. But how is that for you though, in experiencing that?
Mm. I try not to cry when
Yeah.
thinking about it, but at the same time, I still cherish those moments
Hmm.
with him because before my father, I guess you can say, was sick, he would always tell me, "Oh, you're gonna be a star. You're gonna be a superstar." Because my uncle, his brother, was a blues artist,
Okay.
an independent artist, and he got really, really popular in the UK.
Hmm.
And my dad would always say, "You're making your uncle proud. I know you're gonna be a star." He told my husband, "She's gonna be a star. You better do right by her." And it's like when I see my dad, even though he's not able to say it, just knowing when he looks at me, when I sing and he smiles out of nowhere, I can tell we're having that connection. He's telling me I'm going to be a star. So it makes me feel strengthened. That may be the wrong word, but it makes me feel stronger to know that I'm able to do this for my dad. And he's showing his appreciation and in little ways, we just have that connection that I'm able to look at him and talk to him. It makes me feel good and it lets me know that God, I hear you. I hear you. You got something for me. I'm able to communicate with him without words. I'm able to communicate out there to others, with my words. So I'm just able to communicate and still feel good. So God, I hear you.
Most definitely. And just know too, words are vibrations. And so vibrationally, that's probably where he's getting that smile for, because he can feel it. And even,
Yes.
it's almost like for us on the human level to try
Mhm.
not to interpret things on the, what I'm saying, like with the words
Mhm.
and what we see, but we do it with our feelings and the vibration of it. That
Mhm.
is what I felt when you were talking about that. It's like I was right there with you. And so you're getting that feeling, he's getting that feeling. So you are communicating with him and he's communicating with you as well vibrationally.
Yes, yes. And I just have to say kudos to my mom and my sister because my sister, she's right there too. It's sometimes where it gets hard for my mom, to remember he's kind of nonverbal at the moment. And she'll get frustrated and you'll see a
Yeah.
tear falling, and it's like, Mom, take a deep breath because you are superwoman. You're amazing, and my sister, she'll step in right there. I'm like, you're superwoman too, because I'll be with him just alone for a few moments or, a few hours, and
Mhm.
it's draining to me. So I can
Mhm.
only imagine how it is for my mom.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh my God. And my sister, I can only imagine, but they're so jolly and so happy. I said, that's nothing but God right there.
Mhm.
That's nothing but God.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And so with you, how you're able to kind of like overcome like those feelings that come up, when you have, that little bit of sadness, so that you can kind of get back to a very common way about yourself.
I say a prayer. I pray a lot, even if I'm in the motion or in the action of doing something for him. For example, maybe just lifting him up out of his chair to go to bed or go to the table to eat. I'll just say in my head, Lord, I need you. I need you. And it's like out of nowhere, my whole tone, my whole aura just changes.
Mhm.
I read my Bible, I do write, and of course, I do my music. And I'm so happy that my husband is there with me as well. Because there are some times where I guess my dad is like, this is my daughter, you know, telling me to go to the bathroom. So sometimes I need my husband there, maybe to say something different. And while he's helping him to the bathroom and they're having their father son in law moment, which is great because they had a relationship before
Mhm.
everything happened. I'm able to sit there and just say, cherish these moments. Cherish the moments that you had with him and the ones that you're making with him now. I don't want to remember my dad as, oh, he was sick and he wasn't able to talk to me. No, because we were able to communicate in the beginning until now. I'm able to say, I know my dad loved me and I love him. I know he's proud of me, you know. Because when you have a relationship with someone, it's like you never lose touch with them.
Yeah.
You never do.
Most definitely never do. And those relationships are the things that boost us. Those relationships are the things that give us energy, to be able to do the things that we can in life, which leads to our sponsorship again, is
Mhm.
nourish your body with prosperity booster to have energy to prosper. And so again, you would go to ShanteOils dot dot store. And and what I was going to say too along with that is that sometimes people may not always feel like they don't have the energy to do the things that they want to do, or to be able to move on. What are some of the things that you would say in order to do that?
You have to remind yourself that you have a purpose here on earth. So you gotta get up. You gotta have that push. That's just like when I'm in the bed, when I'm depressed, sometimes it's like 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. But then I also say to myself, okay, you get 5 more minutes. But just remember those extra minutes that you're taking away time for you to change the world.
Mm.
Okay, I mean, I could change the world in one day, but if I
Hmm.
can inspire or reach out to one person, I know I've done something, because laughter and happiness is infectious.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so if I can just tell myself, okay, take those 5 extra minutes, get your thoughts together, then get up out of bed, go brush your teeth, go wash your face. Come on, let's go. You got a purpose here in life. And that's the main thing to remember. You have a purpose. Out of all the people on earth, you have your own purpose. Like you have your own purpose. My husband, he has his own. So I just have to tell myself that you have a purpose. And if I forget, I have to ask God, okay, please help me, Lord. I need your help. Please help me. But
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes we need to remind ourselves of that as well. What is our purpose and what are our gifts? And sometimes we may overlook that at times, especially when we don't see the the results. And so, kind of like in saying that, even though you've been singing since you've been 3, but what made you just like, hey, I got something here? Or especially if you didn't initially see, I don't know, you might have already saw the results, but but what made you really hold on to your gifts?
I didn't know what affirmations was back then when I was younger.
Hmm.
And my mom and my dad would always buy me a karaoke microphone or a recorder, something that I could use to sing. They discovered that I had that talent. So they just made sure they always showered me with I guess you could say musical items or, a microphone, always. And my mom said that even when I got in trouble, I would try to sing my way out of not getting punched.
Oh my, that is too funny.
She said any little thing, even if I had to go wash the dishes or something, somehow I would start singing it. And it just kept going and kept going. And as I became an adult, my husband heard me sing. And again, he heard me sing in the shower. And he's like, you can sing. We need to put that down on something. I'm like, no, I just do it for fun. I used to do talent shows in high school and middle school. That's nothing. It's like, no, you need to sing. And after I did record it and I got out there on stage, people were taking to it and they wanted to hear more and more. And it just kept me going like, okay, maybe this is my calling. This is something that I need to do. And that's why I take those extra 5 minutes to get ready out of the bed and pick up my ink pen and keep going.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, again, you have a very beautiful, beautiful voice.
Thank you.
And so
Thank
for
you.
all the awards and nominations, I mean, they are rightly earned. Rightly
Thank you.
earned.
Thank
And,
you.
and so again, I want to remind everyone that you're being nominated and it's to your, and so they can go and help support you by going to your GoFund, so that you can get there to receive the award.
Thank you. Thank you. Putting it out there.
Claiming
Yes.
this.
Thank you. Thank you.
So is there anything else you like to leave us with, whether it's an affirmation or anything that can help anyone, especially again when it comes to self-care, advocacy, or compassion for self-caregivers?
Remember that you have a purpose, because if you forget that you have a purpose, then you have to remember this. Maybe your purpose is to help somebody else to find their purpose and fulfill their purpose. So you have to get up. You have to keep going. Get yourself together. Come on, wake up. Get yourself together. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm beautiful. I'm handsome. Okay, I'm here for a reason. When you're caregiving, remember, maybe that's part of your purpose. Especially, like I said, with my dad, he took care of me. So now that I'm older, I'm thankful that I'm able to help take care of him. And I feel that that's my part of my purpose. But if I don't get up and take care of me first, how can I take care of him efficiently?
That part. That part.
So, so make sure you remember you have a purpose. And if you're not here to fulfill your purpose, how is anybody else going to fulfill theirs? Because you haven't fulfilled yours first.
Mm, that is powerful. If we're not fulfilling our purpose, we're stopping others for fulfilling theirs. Whew.
Mhm.
Mm, 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 mm. That is powerful.
Thank
Like
you.
I
Thank
even
you.
needed that reminder. Thank you.
But like I said,
Yeah,
I pray all the time. And I feel that that's what God tells me. If you don't get up and do what I told you, you're going around saying that your actions or your testimony is not your own. How is somebody else going to see that testimony then?
hmm, yeah. Because it's not for us; it's for others.
That's right. That's right. And it's
Yeah,
been many a times I'm like, God, I can't do it. He's like, get up, come on, get up. And
yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm getting up. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my relationship with God too. I'm thankful.
Hmm.
I'm very thankful.
Yeah, most definitely. Wow. Yeah. And this is why I do what I do, so that, people can hear testimonies like this, they can hear journeys, they can hear experiences, because if no one hasn't already, at some point in someone's life, you're going to experience something. And
Hmm.
that thing that you experience is really not for you. is really for someone else, you know.
Mhm.
And in order for us to even, and a lot of times the experience itself is so that we can gain, it's not always a knowledge, but it's almost
Mhm.
to develop our certain emotional muscles. I've heard somebody
Wow.
say emotional muscles. I was like, oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so to help us, because sometimes if we hadn't experienced something, we don't know. Because I'm like, I never experienced this before. Just like when you're learning something, you know,
Mhm.
sometimes there's some emotional muscles we may need to develop in order to get
Mhm.
through it. Certain characteristic about ourselves, you know, more compassion, you know, more kindness, more love, the courage, whatever it may be, those things are really gifts. Now, they may not feel like a gift at the time.
Yes.
I always say the going through never feels good.
That's true. Very
But
true.
hopefully where our self-care can come in, where we can soothe ourselves and, you know, to have the emotional capacity to hold ourselves and to hold others. And so, yeah. So it's like, are we doing our thing in the world so that everybody else can do their thing, you know?
That's right. Because even with self-care, maybe for the guys, it's shaving their beard. Notice how they kind of change.
Hmm.
Not some bad, but notice how they kind of, you
Hmm.
know, and they're hearing their woman or their mate go, "Oh, you looking good right now." Or when a woman changes her hair, guys, you better start noticing that too when we change
Hmm.
our hair, okay?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
just little things of that nature can help build your confidence. And again, you have to think about you. It's not being selfish, but you have to
Mm-mm.
think about you before you can pour into others. Remember your purpose so you can help everyone with their purpose.
Exactly, exactly. And then along with that, you know, when it comes to self-care, is all of those things, including the things of how you caring for your mind, how you caring for your body, and how you caring for your spirit. All of that helps, you know what I'm saying? Because just like you said,
Yes.
just by shaving, or we were talking about earlier, just taking care of your skin, how that can boost your energy, boost your confidence, boost your self
Hmm.
esteem. So it goes all hand in hand because it even goes into how you think about things, how you see something, you know,
Yes.
because it, you know, how you enter the world. Because if you're entering the world, you know, in negativity, and then we're wondering why certain things cross our paths, you know.
Hmm. You are what you attract. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
negative, misery loves company. So if you're misery or if you're always negative, it's gonna come to you and it's gonna keep you in that space.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah.
keep you
Mm.
there. And
Love.
again, with your affirmations, you have to tell yourself or put it out there. I am wonderful. I am going to get up out of bed today. That's something simple like that.
Mhm.
I am going to go cut the grass today. I am going to do. You have to tell yourself, this is what you're going to do. You have to remind yourself, I am beautiful. I am wonderful. I am made in his image. Come on now. Oh, you just have to be your own cheerleader. You have to speak life over yourself.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Well, I definitely enjoy our conversation.
Mhm. Thank
And thank
you.
you for everyone who joined us live. And if you're on, I always want to say Instagram, YouTube, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And where can people find you?
I get that question and it's always like, here, here, here. I'll put it to you like this. If you're on a social media network, just click in the search bar, hashtag RnB Empress. I'm going to pop up. Instagram, YouTube, um, TikTok, Spotify, any links you can think of. just hashtag RnB Empress. That's my internet signature.
Got you. Got you. Got you. I believe I might have had it. No, I didn't have it. Trying to look and see, did I spell it right? Do. Let's see here. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. Let me take that off. I see where it's misspelled.
For example, there's a reason I call myself an empress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, someone called me that before, but kings and queens, everybody called themselves the king. Everybody called themselves the queen. La 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 la. But king and queen empires or kingdoms fall up under an empire. I don't call myself a god or a goddess because that means you know everything. So, and I'm always learning. So I believe I'm there in the middle as an empress. And especially after hearing someone call me that, I said, I like that. I'll keep that.
Most definitely. Well, again, it has definitely been a pleasure of you being on the Informed Advocate podcast.
I had fun. Thank you so much for the conversation. Thank you.